Alright, so today is the 10th of August of 2023, and the last video was actually just a video that you saw John and I putting a couple of, or one of these plates on, and I've got two of them on now. These Keel shoe plates are 10 feet long, and we got two of them on there, and then today John and I got the third one put on, and this third one had to have a bit of an angle, follow the contour of the keel up towards the bow here. And so what I did with this sheet here is I didn't think we'd probably get the, kind of a sharp little bend in there, just trying to bend it up there. So what I did was I cut a slot across right here, cut a slot through there, then I V'd it out, bent it to where we needed it, and then welded it, filled it back in with weld. So yeah, we should have a nice solid joint there, and the angle nicely follows the hull up. Now we've got one more that needs to go on the bottom of the hull from here, and it's going to go up there about 1.5 feet, and that's going to be a bugger. Not quite sure how we're going to get that up there yet. My metal guy that I had build the fuel tanks 2 years ago thought, and I talked to him about this, he thought we could bend that 3/8 inch plate along and up there. I don't know if we're going to be able to do that or not, but I think we'll try. We'll probably try to bolt it, get a couple sets of bolts in back here, and we'll try to put jacks, hydraulic jacks between the wall and the plate, and maybe some come-alongs or something to help pull, and then maybe start putting bolts in to help bend it around. I don't know. I don't know if that's going to work or not. If it doesn't, we're going to have to heat it up and bend it, which is really not what I wanted to do. But if we have to, we have to, and that's what we'll do. But yeah, that's the situation we're in now. And that last plate that goes on back here at the stern, we haven't got that one on yet either. And that's going to start, of course, down here, and it's going to extend out about 2.5 feet past the end of the keel. It'll come out this direction, and then it'll have a bearing on the bottom of it to accept from the rudder. So that's going to be a little more work involved in that one. That one's also thicker. This plate here is 5/8 of an inch thick. But I got some reinforcing to do on this one. I want to build where it slide under there, that 5 feet or whatever. So somewhere in here, I'm going to have to weld up a plate that'll slip in against the back of the keel. Then I'll probably have to put some gussets coming back here. How necessary that is, I don't know. A 5/8 inch plate is pretty heavy duty stuff, but if you'd happen to bang it on something, which is possible, because if we just run this plate straight back aft, it's going to be the lowest point in the water of the boat. And Georgia talked about trying to bring the rudder up a little bit, to angle the rudder up just a little bit so that it was not the first thing to hit the bottom. So yeah, if we're going to do that, then we're going to have to bend that plate a little bit too, which I suppose maybe we should do. Problem is, I've got a acetylene torch, but the problem is since I moved out here 8 years ago, and all the stuff got boxed up and moved out here, and some stuff got thrown away, and I don't know where my rosebud torch tip is. So it might be in the market for a new one, I guess. If I just I can't. I haven't found it in 8 years. I'm probably not going to find it in the next few days. So anyway, I might need that rosebud tip. I probably should do that with this one at least. Bend it up just a little bit so it's not going to drag on the bottom, or at least be the first thing to drag on the bottom. But anyway, so this piece here needs a lot of welding and work done to it. So that's probably the last piece that we'll put on. And I actually measured this out, got the angle from the back here going down to where we need it to go. And I measured that, and I left this plate just a little bit long. So when we go to put that rudder bearing mount in here somewhere, we'll have to trim off the back of this. But that's easy enough to do with the plasma torch or my regular torch. But, so we got 2 more pieces of that 3/8 inch steel that need to go on up here. The first one is the one with the big bend in it. Like I said, it's going to be a job to do that. I'm not sure how that's going to go. And then the last one's just going to get bolted onto the top there, so that one will be easy. But I may even wait with that last one until we get the boat, get the raised shear line a little bit better established. So I know exactly how high I want to go with that. Because that top of that, the keel stem there is going to get trimmed off too. But anyway, so that's what we've been working on here the last few days, and we're getting closer to getting it done. I'm probably almost to the point where I could, yeah, I guess we're not going to be able to lower the boat down to the cradle until we get this piece in back here. I mean, I guess we could and then just jack it up a little bit to put that last piece in, but yeah, it doesn't really matter if it's up a little higher right now. But when I go to start working on the top up there on the raised shear and then putting the deck in, I'm going to want the boat all the way down here to the cradle, so I got more room to work up there. But anyway, since I didn't talk about anything the last time, I thought I'd just give this little update here, and I'll let you know again how this thing here goes, because in the next couple days we'll probably try to get that next piece on. All right, so today is August 16th, and I've got this aft plate on finally. And I'll try to include a little footage of when I made this plate, but here's the deal. I set the camera up on a tripod and I shot a bunch of video when I was making this aft plate here. And this plate here, what it does is it holds the bearing that the bottom of the rudder will slide into. And that's really all it does. I had seen some other guys on their boats that had built 48s, duck 48s, that had extended out like, 4.5 inches of wood here or whatever it was to drop the bearing onto. But George did not put that in his plans, and so I didn't do it either. I did the seal under here, and I think that's what George actually intended, although I'm not entirely certain since George is passed now. But anyway, that's what I did, and I mean, that's all it's going to do is hold hold the bottom bearing for this rudder, and there's going to be 2 or 3 of them, 2 of them I suppose up on the transom too. So that shouldn't really be an issue. But anyway, I got this piece in, and I wanted to reinforce it a little bit. So this is 5/8 inch steel down here, which is pretty thick steel. And I welded on a couple of 3 inch. Those are 3 inch. 3 inch by 3/8 inch flats along either side to kind of make like a U channel out of it. And then this is 3/8 by 4 inch, and I would put that onto some 3/8 inch piece of 3/8 inch plate here. The idea was to bolt this up against the keel. Now, as you can see, there's a gap here. There's probably about a 3/8 inch gap down there. So I didn't quite get the angle right, or I suppose it started out right, didn't end up right. So I don't know how that happened. But anyway, it is what it is. It's still going to serve to reinforce the back here, and I'll just have to fill this up with more sealant of some sort, whether it's more of this tar or something else. And I've got 1/2 inch bolts in the bottom. There's 8 1/2 inch bolts, pair here, pair here, pair here, and a pair back there. So there's 8 1/2 inch bolts also holding that plate to the bottom. So it should be pretty robust. Problem I had is the last 2 bolts landed, or these middle 2 bolts, there's 2 here and then there's 2 here. They landed right on the middle of this 6x6 beam here, part of the cradle. So I couldn't get in there obviously to put the bolts in, to drill them or put the bolts in. So what I wound up doing is the boat is actually suspended above the cradle now. There is nothing of the cradle that is supporting the boat. It is all suspended from these hydraulic jacks. There's a screw jack there, and these support beams on the sides. So I managed to actually slide the cradle. If you can see down here, I got a pipe under the cradle down there. There's a 3/4 inch pipe under there, and I picked it up, just pried it up with a big pry bar under one of these cross pieces. Got a corner up and stuck the pipe under there. And then I went to the other end with that pry bar, and I slid or actually I did it from down here, didn't I? Because I went backwards with it. So now we've got it, all the bolts in there. I thought about just leaving those and waiting with those bolts till some other point when I had the boat up in the air, you know, in slings or whatever, and running a couple more in there. But I thought, yeah, you know what? We got it here now. Let's get it done. It really wouldn't have hurt anything had they not been there, but we got them in, so that's good. And tomorrow we're going to lower the boat all the way down to the cradle. Like I said, right now it's floating in the air. It's up off the cradle, not floating in the air, but you know what I mean. So yeah, that's all good. I suppose I'll pull that pipe out. I don't know if I should run it back again a little bit to get it back under there farther, or if it's all right the way it is. What do we got here? About 18 inches there. And probably about the same here. Yeah, that should be fine, just where it is. Just get that pipe taken out of there, and then tomorrow we can start lowering. And I don't know for sure. We're so close back here now already. I mean, we're within, 4 inches of the stern being down on the cradle. I'll get that pipe rolled out of there. And I may actually start back here and bring this all the way down to the cradle and then just inch it down up here. But of course, what you have to do is you gotta, well, these are all loose now. I put a couple wedges in here now just to add a little extra just in case. This one's probably free yet. Yeah, see, that one's free. And then the forward ones are supporting. But yeah, I'll need to disconnect these aft ones, and pull these screws out of here so that we can move these boards back a little bit as we drop it down. And they may need to be shortened up too. I don't know. We'll have to see as we get closer. Probably will have to be shortened up, actually. Yeah, maybe we can get them out here far enough, but we'll see. But yeah, maybe do that. Drop the aft end down, since there isn't a whole lot to have to do here. Then we won't have to screw around quite so much up forward there. Once we get the aft end down, then we can reblock this back here to make sure this is all really good and secure, so the boat doesn't tip, port or starboard. And then take these middle ones out, and then of course the forward one out. Take the forward out, and then start inching it down here until we get it resting on the cradle. And that'll give me more room up there to work, because those are going to be the next big jobs. And another thing I did over here was I took this, whatever you want to call it, the framing that I had on the end of this this ladder here, staircase. I took that all apart and kind of redid it. I put another 2x4 up here for support, put a few little just cross pieces in there, and then I got one screw going into the boat itself to keep it up against the boat, because obviously as we lower the boat, we can't have this staircase attached to the boat at all. And actually, even though it's not really that well, reinforced, this thing was actually pretty stable, pretty strong and pretty stable, even just the way it is. Now at some point, when the boat goes out, this is going to have to go outside and it'll sit on the ground. So when that happens, what I'll probably do is put some 2x6s or something across here to support, to hold those in place and support them. And then we'll put some more cross pieces for some more support in here. And this thing will set up to the boat so we can get in and out of the boat when it's outside. Probably have to put a coat of paint on it at that point too, but anyway, this is going to work. It was fine. Like I said, I had it all standing, and I even climbed up and down it a couple times to test it out for stability, and it was fine without it being screwed to the boat. Right now there's one screw that'll come out, and we can fuss with the boat, get the boat lowered, and then probably for at least for now, put that one screw back in again or whatever. But yeah, it's been a little bit of a battle here. It's been a lot of work. And after tomorrow, it's supposed to get really, really hot again. So you know what that means? That means Scott's probably not going to be doing much work out here, unfortunately. But I had all sorts of adventures getting this piece in by myself, and yeah, boy, I tell you what. Anyway, so I think I'm probably done trying to run the camera. And you guys really don't want to sit and watch me work, do you? Huh? I mean, I was never real big on that, watching somebody work for 20 minutes. And I mean, if it's, you know, a fast action and that's you're doing quick cuts and stuff, it's not so bad. But even then, personally, I would rather have people tell me what they're doing, show me what's been done and how it was done, and tell me about it, as opposed to yeah, sitting there watching the whole thing. Another thing, this jack was not quite heavy duty enough. I couldn't get this piece pushed up in there, so I had to resort to pulling out all my hydraulic jacks. I got 1, 2, 3, 4 of them under there now. I think I got one more smaller hydraulic jack floating around somewhere, but yeah. So once we get the boat lowered to the cradle, we won't need blocking under there. Won't need these screw jacks anymore. It'll be resting right on the cradle, and let's hope these 6x6s are strong enough to hold the weight of the boat, which I suspect they are. But anyway, that's where we stand on the 16th of August.